needs to go through the motions of pretending like he's going to be selected by a team. Okay.
Because I have not heard anybody say this, and I don't believe this is necessarily true, but we don't know yet. What if they cancel the workout because it's a done deal that they're taking him?
I would be floored. We're hearing all of these reports coming out of people who are very plugged into the draft, and after teams have done their evals and they're setting up their draft boards, it seems more likely that Shedeur Sanders is going to slip out of the top 3 rather than go number 1 overall. I know it's lying season, and a lot of teams are throwing smoke out there to deter other teams from knowing their true intentions when their name gets called by Roger Goodell at the draft. I don't think that this is one of those things.
I don't think so either. But Pat Costello, moments before we went on the air today, one of our producers, said, boy, I can't figure out for the life of me where Shedeur is going. And my response to Pat was, agreed, but does he know where he's going? And the answer to that may be maybe. I don't think it's number 1 overall, but ESPN bet Travis Hunter is the favorite to go 2 now to the Browns, and it seems like the Giants are debating between Abdul Carter, defensive end, outside linebacker, Penn State, and maybe Shedeur Sanders, but if not, maybe he drops. I'm not saying he's going number 1 overall, but hypothetically, if they did draft him number 1 overall, it would explain a lot of all the noise of we don't know where he's going, where is he locked into, et cetera, et cetera. Again, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen.
Let's just, for a second, go there with this hypothetical. Think about how drastically different this draft would play out if the Titans shocked everybody and picked Shedeur Sanders number 1 overall. Then does that shift, obviously, what Cleveland does if Cam Ward is on the board? Because as Mel Kiper, who joins us every week, described the difference between the two, Shedeur is more of a workman type quarterback. Cam Ward is the wow quarterback. And if you're Cleveland, do you pass on Travis Hunter and Abdul Carter to get that Cam Ward? And geez, if they somehow go with one of those 2 players, if you're the Giants sitting there at 3, you have to take Cam Ward, no?
Okay, so here's the hypothetical I'm going to present to you guys then. All right? Something or nothing here. Around the room, everybody in Bristol, Vegas East as well. Shedeur Sanders is more likely to go 1 overall or past 21, meaning past the Steelers?
Past 21.
Vegas East, Nuno, Pat, Javante?
I'll say past 21.
Past 21.
In your scenario, 1, because I don't think he gets out of the top 10.
But I think there's no chance in the world he goes number 1.
That's not what Nuno's saying. This is the thing. We have to define what slipping actually means here. Because
I think slipping's out of the top 3.
Well, ESPN Bet has the over-under at 8.5.
But he's a quarterback, and the top 3 teams need quarterbacks. And he's the 2nd quarterback in this class.
I think what Nuno is saying is probably more in line. I think if you actually dive into the Shedeur Sanders conversation, it feels like the Saints at 9.
And real quick, the Giants and the Browns are still the co-favorites to draft Shedeur at plus 250. The Saints are at plus 400.
Because
they
don't think that the Saints that he'll be on the board, right? That's what that's indicating, that they don't think the Saints will have the opportunity to take him.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. There's a gray area with him, right? And we don't know where he's going to land. I am not suggesting he's going number 1 overall, obviously. I'm just suggesting when someone cancels a workout with someone, when a team cancels a workout with a player, it means one of 2 things. Either they're taking someone else, they're not going to worry about him, or they know they're taking that player, there's no need to waste time. In this case, it's probably the former and not the latter. I'm just saying. Something or nothing here on Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio. What to watch for? Brought to you by Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN. Get great deals and the hottest tickets. Experience it live. We're going to watch the draft coming up in a few weeks. And who are we going to watch? Jalen Milroe, Alabama quarterback at the draft. That is what to watch for. Brought to you by Vivid Seats. So, something or nothing that he has been invited to the draft, Smalls.
I will say again, I think that this is something. Yes, he's a big name, and he played at Alabama, so it's good to have star power in the green room at the draft. But for somebody who we haven't been talking about in the same breath of air, I don't know. I don't have a team for you just yet.
See, this is where this is something fair to do to him, to have him show up and sit around for a few days.
No.
Now, if whoever his representation has like all these paid appearances for him and that's why he's going, good for him. But you don't actually have to go to the draft. This is something, but I can't exactly figure out why. Because Adam Schefter told us last week, and he'll join us tomorrow after 8 a.m. Eastern time, that at that point, now that was a week ago, it was not trending in the direction of the Steelers drafting a quarterback in the first round at 21, because he was the guy that I thought, oh, he'd be perfect for the Steelers. He has that Steelers kind of mentality. He's a fighter. He gets benched in college, doesn't matter. He stays there and wins his job back. His coach, Nick Saban, retires. He gets a new one in Caleb DeBoer. Doesn't matter. He stays there when a lot of other kids, young student athletes, it's their right, would leave and go somewhere else. That's Steelers. And then Shefty says, well, I don't think they're going to draft a quarterback in the first round. Again, that was a week ago. So does that mean the Rams have an eye on him as the QB in waiting behind Stafford at 26 overall? I mean, and by the way, if he potentially can go in the first round and Jackson Dart could go in the first round, we're talking about 4 quarterbacks in the first round, and that's not even mentioning Nuno's guy that he wants for the Giants, Tyler Shuck, out of Louisville.
So we could technically get 5.
We're not gonna get 5, but if the over/under is 2.5 on ESPN Bet, I'm taking the over.
How interesting would it be if we saw Jalen Milroe be the 3rd guy off the board after all these discussions we've had about Jackson Dart?
That's now possible. Unsportsmanlike is brought to you by Robinhood. Get a 3% IRA match, only $5 a month with Robinhood. Coming up upon further review next. We're Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio and ESPN.
Ta đi về, ta đi ngay đằng sau.
Thế mình đi sau ta?
Anh đi.
Ủa mình về trước hả?
Xin chào tất cả mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Ngày hôm nay mình sẽ tiếp tục hướng dẫn các bạn câu tượng. Tượng hôm nay của mình sẽ có tiêu đề là chữ G. Mọi người hôm nay phần tượng của mình sẽ là chữ Q. Bây giờ mình sẽ bắt đầu tô nhé.
Sao lúc đi về là tao nhớ tao đi chậm chậm, sao tao không thấy mẹ ở trước?
Thấy không?
Có thấy mẹ đi với ta, nhưng mà nó đi đằng sau này chứ.
Nhưng nó lúc thì nó đi đằng trước, lúc tí đi đằng sau ta. Ta vượt mà.
Còn lúc con
Nó về đến cầu rồi thì nó đi đằng sau ta.
cái nó que cho thì lúc ấy là thằng nào đón này. Là mình à?
Ai biết, mình không biết đâu.
Không nhận ra luôn à?
Tao có nhìn đâu mà tao biết.
Thế cứ là con hàng nó chụp thấy cái tao nhìn mãi mới ra là nó, chứ tao không nhận ra đấy là ai luôn mà.
Ê, sao cái cân này kỳ lạ lắm, tao cân này.
Thôi im mồm mày, cái cân kỳ lạ cái gì? Đây
Không,
nửa cân thế nào mà mày thấy kỳ lạ đây?
ở nhà ta cân lúc sáng nay ta đi ra khỏi nhà, ta ăn sáng xong ta đi ra khỏi nhà, ta ngồi lên cân một lần, ta thấy ô rõ ràng số 52 đàng hoàng. Thế xong lúc trưa về ta bảo phải cân qua nhiều cân, ta sang nhà bác ta cân cũng 52. Lúc nãy chiều ta đi, lúc nãy trưa ta đi ra đây ta cũng ngồi lên cân nhà ta một lần.